Hi, and welcome back. So in this section we look at what it means to factor by grouping. And let me begin by asking you a very simple question. Suppose we want to factor, let's get it something like this, 2ax minus 5ab. Okay, so we look for the common factor, which in this case is pretty simple. It's just a. So we take an a out, and we get 2x minus 5b. Pretty simple, not much going on there. But now let's look at this problem to factor. 2 times s minus 5 times x minus 5 times s minus 5 times x. Now that looks a lot more complicated, doesn't it? But please notice that here we have an s minus 5 twice, just like here we have an a. And so although this is a more complicated expression than a, we simply factor that out like we did with the a over here, and what we get is s minus 5 times 2x minus 5x. I probably made a mistake here, right? I wanted this to be a b, and I want this to be a b. But same idea. So we get the same expression here as we did here. And that's the idea of grouping. So we'll look at a couple of examples here that'll show you how grouping can work in a much more complicated setting. So check this out. Looks pretty complicated. Your first instinct should always be to see if there's a common factor, and in this case there isn't. And so what do? Well, the whole idea here is that we try to group, and we basically pair it up into two pieces. And we look at that first piece and we say, okay, is there something I can take out of those first two terms? And yes, indeed, I can take out 5x squared, and I'm left with 7x minus 2. Now I look at the next two terms, and I say, is there anything that comes out of these two? And once again, yes, I can take out a minus 8, and that gives me 7x minus 2. Oh, check it out, check it out. What we got is 7x minus 2 as a common factor. And so I can take 7x minus 2 out, that's my greatest common factor, and I'm left with 5x squared minus 8. And here we are in factored form. It's really cool grouping, I like it. It's kind of fun, the fact that you could look at something that looks as weird as this, long as that, 4 terms, and factor it just like that. Okay, we'll look at another example or two. Alright, so here's one again, and the key is 4 terms. When you see 4 terms, that generally tells you that you're going to want to use grouping. So if I look at the first 2 terms, what I can take out is a 3 and an a, and I'm left with 5b minus 2. Now I look at these next 2 terms, and what I can take out of those 2 is a b squared. And I'm left with, again, 5b minus 2. So it's always a big deal when you get the same term. So I factor that out, 5b minus 2, that's my common factor, and I get 3a plus b squared. Ta-da! Make sense? Aren't they fun? Okay, see you next time.